What is going on, my beautiful weebs? We are here in the first ever official anime top 10 seasonal. Except it's a top 8. Why? Because fuck you, that's why. We're gonna be going over the best of this season, and boy, this season was so saturated. It doesn't do it justice that I only picked these 8 animes. There's actually a lot more good animes out there. I'm sorry if your favorite anime doesn't make it on here. I have to say this is mostly my opinion, but it's also the correct opinion, definitely. So I'm sorry if your favorite anime doesn't make it on the list, or if your favorite anime is rated lower than it is, because there is an anime in this list that is I'm gonna get some shit for. Now, of course, we'll be going over only animes that have finished this season. They might be still a season. The anime doesn't have to literally finish, but let's just, get into the list. Now, strong at number 8, we have Dr. Stone Wars. It surprised me how fast this season was. I definitely liked it less than the previous season. It's still really good. I gave it a 7 out of 10, and don't get freaked out. 7 out of 10 is still a good score. I just thought that even though that there's many emotional bits in this season, and we see the conclusion of the main story, the first main story, as the anime will still continue, it was a good conclusion, but it felt sort of, how should I say this? It's a bit non-committal, as it's maybe too lighthearted. I expected it to go a little bit more in. I expected it to be more bloodshed, let's say. I expected there to be a twist because of that. I know that that's not the point of this anime. The point is something completely different. But I expected there to be some more weight to the entire situation. And even the last thing that happened, that if you watched, it still felt a little bit non-committal, as I said, because, that didn't also really happen. I'm trying not to spoil anything here. So yeah, it's still really good. I still really liked it, but it's only number 8 on this list. Going on to number 7, we have Horimiya. This is probably one of the better slice of lives that you can watch, as it has a really, really realistic feel to it. The romance feels like it's supposed to be there, and there's so many character dynamics going on. One problem I had with this anime is that it was only 13 episodes, and the way it adapted the manga is a bit weird. There is too many characters and too many interactions going on to just be 13 episodes, so that's why it's only a 7 out of 10. So instead they should have went for either only focus on Hori and Miyamura, or the anime should have been longer so that they can focus more clearly on every single other character that there is here. Either way, I think the anime sort of fixed itself in the last episode. The last episode was very good, and like the characters a lot, they're really dynamic, and sometimes they try to bring more development to some background characters, which I didn't really like, but it shows that the writer is very capable of making very believable and full 3-dimensional characters. Now I get to number 6. Jujutsu Kaisen. Now Jujutsu Kaisen is it's a good anime with there's nothing wrong with it. It's good. Now I know I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this, for putting it so low on the list, but to me Jujutsu Kaisen, and I'm sorry, is just a shonen. It definitely is one of the better shonens that I've seen, but as shonens are, there needs to be so much more development going on before I can make a conclusive and definitive score to give this anime, because this is only the beginning, as I said. So yeah, I definitely think that this show will be better in the future. I still think it's really good, but not as much as I think other people claim to be. And I'm sorry again, please don't hate me for this. One thing I can give this show a lot of credit for is that all of its fights are really, really fun and really action-packed and well animated, but there's also not a lot of weight behind them. Like the fight in episode 12 or 11, 13, something like that. That was the best fight of the season, and in that fight I thought this series was really, really good. But it's sort of developed into a generic shonen trope. It sort of just started the tournament arc out of nowhere, and yes, the show did follow a story because of the tournament arc, but they also could have done without it. So it's just following shonen tropes, and you know, it's very inspired by other shonens. You could definitely tell that. So yeah, it's a good shonen, but I feel like I still haven't watched enough to form an entire opinion on it, so take all that I say with a grain of salt. Moving on to number 5, it's actually SK8 the Infinity. I thought this show wasn't gonna be this good. I mean, how good can a show just about skateboards be? But wow. Wow. Like when I watched this show, I got all of these weird, like, nostalgic vibes, as if I'm watching like Bakugan or something for the first time as a child. Like, it's super fun and I just want to watch more, and I saw so many videos on this anime and I thought there's no way it's this good. But then it really, really is fun, and it is a show about fun. I really love the message in the show, how, you know, true happiness doesn't come from accomplishments, it comes from being happy in what you do and stuff like that. And they show it in a really nice light that it puts the show on another level. And as I said, I thought this was not going to be as good as it is, but it somehow is. Also, the animations, of course, it's Studio Bones. It's nothing else to be expected, right? Except for amazing animations, and that's what it is. Combine this with a fun narrative, and you have SK8 the Infinity, which is somehow an amazing anime. Now, moving up the list one more, we have number 4, which is gonna be Mushaku Tensei. When I first saw this anime, I thought it was gonna be just another isekai. I didn't actually know that this was the grandfather of all isekai, but then when I watched it, I realized why and how isekai became popular in the first place. Because man, this show takes all of the standard isekai tropes and just makes them good. There is a reason why the show is an isekai. It's reincarnation, another chance. You get another chance in life and you can fix mistakes that you did in your previous life. And the studio that was behind this show is created just to make this show. So I hope this show really kicks off and becomes really popular. I really urge you to watch this. It's such a good show. It was weird how I felt sort of like it started like a slice of life for the first, say, 8-9 episodes, because it was very slow. You only see the slow development of the characters individually and their personalities, and there's not much story going on. But then, because of that, because of how slowly it develops those characters, later on in the series, it has a lot of impact when something is wrong with the characters. When the story starts off, you feel for these characters. You don't want something bad to happen to them. You want them to win. You want them to surpass. You want them to advance. I didn't really expect this show to be adapted this slowly, or I guess tell the story this slowly, but also to have this much impact. But then I realized, wow, the world building that was set, the characters that were set, everything really pays off at the end of the series. Now let's get down to number 3, which is actually gonna be Wonder Egg Priority. Now, if you don't know, this show is actually not finished yet. The studio had some terrible things going on. The director was hospitalized twice during the making of the show, and the last episode was only finished 4 or 5 hours before it aired. They didn't have time. The production company urged them to do it more quickly, and it kind of sucked. And now they have to release the final episode in June. But as it says in the database, this show is finished, so I'm putting it out here as a 9 out of 10. I really, really love the show, and I never thought how the dynamic would be this good. So I think I'm rambling on too much. The show it's got a lot to say, and I hope you're away with me for this last episode that comes out in June. I really want people to watch this show. It's really good. I kind of want to say this show is about suicide from a child's perspective, which is sort of heavy, so no, it's probably not for everybody to watch, especially not if you're just a shonen fan or something like that. If you just want action or something like that, this show really works in another sort of dynamic. I'm not trying to say it's deep, but it says a lot. So yeah, great show and very well-deserved number 3. Maybe it even climbs up higher when we get the final episode. Let's move on to number 2, which is gonna be ReZero, Season 2, Part 2. I'm blown away by this show. There's nothing more to be said. It's so good. Oh my god. When I watched the first season of ReZero, I never thought anything of it. I thought it was like a mid 7 out of 10, never gonna be good kind of stuff. But I watched season 2 and it blew my mind. And then, now that we have the conclusion to all of that, wow, such a fantastic show, and I can't say too many good things about it. The way it puts you in these uncomfortable situations that are so human, yet so like... And then we have the very, very emotional moments with Emilia and the way that the story resolves the villains. Everything is just so good about this show. I mean, come on. I don't think there's something to be said that hasn't already said before. So absolutely fantastic show, 9 out of 10. It's very well deserved. Second place. And the reason it's only second place is because, of course, as everybody expected, Attack on Titan is number 1. If you watched my previous video on Attack on Titan, I sort of, you know, went down on it a little bit. This show is gonna be remembered as a masterpiece. I don't think that's a controversial opinion, and it really is like that. I mean, it's the most popular series in the US right now. Series, not just anime. Even though I believe there's some direction issues present here and there, you know, with the animations and the soundtrack being a little bit off, not really what we're used to, it still delivers an absolutely fan-fucking-tastic story. Something that really will be remembered for forever, probably, as long as anime will exist. The development of Eren, the development of the world, the subtle nuances, and the big picture are all so well written that it's just, again, it's a show where there's nothing more to be said that hasn't already said before. Nothing more to be said that hasn't already been said before. So yeah, it's a number 1 of this season, and it's probably gonna be pretty high up there in the yearly top 10 that's gonna come, you know, when the year ends. So subscribe to see that. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this 10 out of 10. If you disagree with me, feel free to put it down in the comments below. I really like the discussion. I always reply to comments if I can. I hope the comments don't get overwhelming. Actually, I kind of hope they do. I hope this video does well. But yeah, like the video, subscribe, leave your thoughts, and, you know, I'm gonna see you in the next video. Whatever that's gonna be. See ya.